Welcome back. This is part 4 of our How to Build a Mobile Game series. Now we're going to start with the save file from part 3. So if you haven't got that, head over to buildboxacademy.com and head to the bottom of the post and go and download it from there. Right, let's get stuck in. I'm going to open that file up in Buildbox. We'll wait for that to load. Okay, let's see where we're up to. Yep, okay, so things are looking pretty good. We've still only got one level, but things are working well. So what I think we should do is go ahead and create another level. So I've hit the plus button, we've added level 1, and as you'll see, it's given us a blank screen there. Now this is where the first part of the level ends. Or level 0, they call it start. You can see it ends there. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to continue this background, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to select the ground as well. We'll select one of these and I'll select this header here, and I'm going to copy all those 3 and paste them here, which is going to paste them in exactly the same place, but in there we go, but in level 1. I'm going to check the start and end. The start and end are very close, so we're going to move the, we'll put the start there, and we'll move the end up. We're doing this just so you can really see how the levels work. Now, let's, what should we do? Let's add some of these into here so you can see. Let's drop that down a little bit, and we'll add this in here, and then we know when we get to this part, this is part of level 2. Let's make this shorter. Yeah, so I'm just duplicating a bit of scenery here. We'll make that a bit longer. All right. And if we give that a go, we'll just check that it's working. Okay. And here we've got our rotating platform. And there we go. You can see now the new level is coming into view. Yep, and now we're on level 1. Perfect, so that's working. Now I did notice a slight bug here. I think this is, these platforms, this is set to kinematic and this is set to static. And you can, if we put the debugger on here, you'll see the bounding boxes for everything. And this platform up here is set to static. This one's correct, but this one here, I think the platform's rotating, but the bounding box is the collision box. Yep. So really, what would appear to be, I can bounce in thin air. So we just need to fix that by changing that to dynamic. Okay. All right, that's good. Now let's. At the moment, I'm having to control the character by clicking the left and right UI buttons, but for testing purposes, to speed things up, I want to add some keyboard controls. So we're going to add a little keyboard button in there, and the assigned button is going to be left, and this will be our move left and release, and we're just going to hook it up exactly the same as the move node. So when we hit our left keyboard button, it's going to move our character left, and we're going to drag in another one of those. Let's call that keyboard right, and we're going to click in there and push right, and again we're going to hook that up to the move node and set physics to stop the character moving. Let's call this one keyboard left. Now when we play the game, yeah, and we'll go over. So I'm using the keyboard now to move the character, which is a lot easier. And we'll just head on in and just check that the bounding box we set up is correct. And it's not. It's obviously fallen off. I think we should have actually set that to kinematic, not dynamic. And if you were paying attention, maybe you were shouting that at the screen. Yeah, it should be kinematic. Let's give that one more quick run through. And hopefully this time this will be good, and then we can move on. Let's see. Yep, great. Now the bounding box is moving with that, and I'm using the keyboard controls. These are all nice little bits of polish here. Okay, there is one thing that we didn't do last time is when you die, although you can restart it, the player or anyone using this wouldn't know you can restart by just hitting this area of the screen. So what I think we need is a UI button in there that kind of tells people that yes, you can hit that and you can restart. If we go back to our node map, this would be on our game over screen, because right now it's just a control button or a navigation button, and we really want that to be graphical. So you can create your buttons in any graphics program you're familiar with, but I'm going to use Adobe XD as it's pretty good for quickly creating buttons. So I've already got an artboard set up there. I'm going to draw a button shape on the screen, and I'm going to make this, we kind of want it a purpley tone like our game. I'm going to go with something like that. I'm going to bevel the corners. That button's looking a little bit chunky. Let's thin that up. And we're going to want some text in there. Let's go try again, question mark. And I'm going to use a nice rounded font. Now this is the San Francisco font from Apple. It's available for developers to download for free. You can just Google that and get it, download and install it. It's quite a nice font, and I'm using the rounded variant here. Yeah, that is looking good. I'm going to group this, and we'll give this a name. We'll just call that button, and now I'm going to duplicate it. And this second one is going to be for our down state. So when you click the button, you can design these however you like, but this is just so we can see a bit of a difference here. Yeah, it's going to highlight slightly. Okay, we'll call that one button up, and this one button down. And we want to make both of those exportable, so we say mark for export, and then we can go up here and export as batch. And we're just going to export those straight to the desktop. We want PNGs. There we are. Right, so I'll hide Adobe XD and we'll get these in here. So this is the down state, so we'll put that image selected, and this is the up state. They're stretched here because the sizing is wrong, so we'll set that to 1 and 1. And we'll just get that kind of aligned there. All right, and now when we play, yeah, we get a nice try again button. There is one other thing I like to do. I'm going to head back into Adobe XD, and if we just create I'm going to fill this with black, and this is going to be like an overlay for our game over screen. I'll just call that overlay, mark for export. This can be any size because we're going to stretch it. I'm just going to export the selected one, overlay, yep, perfect. I'm going to drag that into here, and we'll drag it in as an image, stretch it out over the screen. Now this is solid black, so you can't see through this, but we can change the opacity in here. Let's go 0.5. So when the game's over, you'll get a nice, yeah, it dims it. I mean, you could go, let's go a little bit more on that. Yeah, that's pretty good. So with just a few graphics, we've given our game a fair bit of polish there. That is looking a lot better than what we had 5 minutes ago. All right. So now, I mean, we could spend some time and just build these levels out. You know, add some more enemies in, and a few different obstacles and things like that. Let's go back to there. Let's copy that one. And where do we want? We want to go to number 2. Here we are, or the level 1, rather confusingly. So we could put that in there. And what we could also do, I mean, you can reuse assets. So this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a -6. Let's get that 0, -1.2, and let's duplicate this. To there, and I'm going to do one more. It's best if you have, when you want to duplicate in 3D, if you get in line with the object, then it'll do it in line. Otherwise, it has a tendency to put them at weird angles. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, okay. I'm going to get rid of that front one, and let's select all 3 of those and just move them down a little bit. Let's see how that looks. Yeah. Now that looks pretty good, those teeth moving up. And what we could do is, let's take those and we'll just duplicate that again. And again. Okay. That's the starting point for level 2 is obviously a bit forward. So let's move that, get that moved forward, and we'll move these like this. And we'll stretch that out. There we go. Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's looking good. I think we'll leave it there. That's just a quick part 4 with some nice polishes to the game mechanics and the UI. So I think what we can do is we can go further, and we can maybe in the next tutorial I'll flesh out these levels a bit more, and we'll put in some more enemies and a bit more detail and just give a bit more polish. And we also at some point need to work on the start screen, so we've kind of got so when the game first launches it doesn't just throw you into the game. All right, so this will be available over on buildboxacademy.com, where you can download the project file and take off from this point and use this file however you like. So don't forget to subscribe to buildboxacademy.com and this channel to receive all future updates, and I will see you in the next one.